is a video of a woman giving her children up for C.P.S. or Child Protective Services. If you haven't seen this video yet, you will see it at some point. It is worrying for a number of reasons. One, her filming this as a live video on Facebook or whatever she was on, and saying that she's been going through it. She needs to give these kids up because she can't handle it anymore. And just the video itself was eye-opening for a number of reasons. I had tons of people in these comment sections saying things like, she's going to create herself a whole new life. She's not going back for them. Absolutely do not judge. You are not in her shoes. There was conflicting views in this video, but a good chunk of it was calling her out and saying this is the worst, most selfish thing you could possibly do, that you shouldn't have had children if you knew you couldn't take care of them. And not just one child. These are women that go out and they, after the first kid, they don't learn. They don't see it as hard enough, obviously, and they go and have more children. Now, I have people like this in my own family that refuse to understand that once you bring a child into this world, it is your responsibility. Whether or not your partner's with you or not, as a mother, it becomes literally your responsibility. And this is the problem with a lot of women. They think that the men are going to stick around. The men didn't birth those kids. You did. And so at any point, and this is why the whole abortion thing is a whole thing, and I don't think people understand. The reason why, if it's a woman's choice, right, to go forward, and even if they know they don't have the support of a spouse, family members, they don't have any support system in play, and they still go forward and have these kids, it is your responsibility. Now, she's doing what is right for her. She said, I can't do this anymore. So she was going to school. She's doing all this stuff to try and better herself, but she's at her breaking point. This is a mother, in my opinion, that just needed a break. She needed some help and a support system, and she just couldn't find it. And this is why one of the things I said when I was in college, and I remember I got an actual scholarship from Harvard Business School for it, because one of the things I wanted to do, and this was a business plan I put forward, was I think we need better systems in place for mothers, single mothers that just need a break, that just want their kids to have, the support system they need in place, like car pickup, carpooling. You need to have somebody come in and babysit for free, just to help these moms out when they're at their breaking point, kind of like a hotline of mothers helping other mothers that are clear, safe. They have their, certified training to, help children in situations, and that they're going to not have any legal ramifications because this is a voluntary thing, right? And so I remember getting an award for that, because I think we're at a breaking point in society where mothers are feeling like they're left with zero options. And I really truly believe it's going to get worse from here, because with the economy the way it is, with the world the way it is, and the cost of living the way it is, people in general just can't do it anymore. And I totally feel for her. I feel for her because I've been there. I've had the struggles. I've been in that situation where I don't know what to do, but you have to keep going. You chose, this is your choice in life. And that's something a lot of people don't like to look at. They don't want to take accountability. They want to pawn their problems off on other people and on, society. And it's not society's problem. This is your problem. You had these kids and you chose the men you did to bring these kids into the world with. And I have people in my own family, guys, and you guys know this. You probably have people in your own family that do this, that you're like, why do they have kids? Why? They don't have a pot to piss in. They can't even take care of themselves. And they're bringing kids into this world? Like, what? And the statistics are bad, because it says for Black children, the rates are consistently higher. Black kids are placed into these type of situations with C.P.S. and, these foster home situations more than any others. 63%. All right. And this is just from Arizona. All right. And the numbers don't lie. And when we look at that are out there waiting for a home, that are trying to get a foster home or foster parent, it is incredibly high. It says here from December 2019 to 2021, the number of of children in these waiting for, foster situation is up 3,850%. What? Look at the rates here. And this is not even current. I can't even imagine what it is currently. I think this is one of those things where it's an important conversation to have with kids from a young age. And girls, guys out there watching these videos of mine and people that are talking about this stuff, the two pieces of advice I would give to you: learn who you're laying down with. My grandma used to have a saying, and I'm Caribbean. She used to say, if you lay down with dog, you'll end up with fleas. And that really means that the kind of man that you choose to put in your life is going to determine what kind of life you have. Now, there are some girls that just go for the bad boys originally, and then they usually learn from the first child, like, I'm not going to make that mistake again. And this is a part of the learning lesson we call life, is when you go and you have children, you try to determine who is going to be good partner for you to raise those kids with. And there's ways to do this. There's ways you can determine this. Did their father stick around? Do they come from a good household? Are they somebody that, even if they didn't come from that situation, do they carry out the actions of somebody who is faithful? We're a hard worker. That's important. People that men and women, by the way, this goes both ways. They have the diligence to say, I need to do X, Y, and Z, and at least create a situation in where I can bring a child into this world. So this is why, for me personally, I fault no one who says they want no kids. I fault no one, because in the society that we live in, it is hard to raise kids. They're saying on average, like one child. And this is according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture and a study published in, guess what, 2017. This isn't even recent. It says the average cost of raising a child from birth to age 17 was roughly about $233,610 for a middle-income married couple with 2 kids. This estimate was based on a family of 4 and excludes any college costs. As a mom myself, and I have 3 kids, one that was born all the way back in the mid 2000s, right? And then my other kids in the later part of the 2000s. And I can tell you the cost from then, when I was raising my born, to now, it's astronomically higher. And not just because of the cost of living, the cost of anything. I remember I used to be able to take my eldest to a Disneyland or something like that for like $110, $120. I asked her the other day, I said, I want to take your younger siblings to go to Disneyland. This is a little off the subject, but just to give you an idea. And she said, oh, well, then get ready to pay $300-$400, and that's not including your hotel and all of that. And I'm thinking, how is anybody affording to have kids nowadays if you want to even give them a quality of life that is nice, that is a good upbringing? I see so many videos on the internet of people posting things like this, like how to get rid of C.P.S. and just all kinds of stuff, right? There's mothers out there dying to make sure they keep their kids with them and are protected, because nowadays people call C.P.S. for all sorts of fucking reasons. If your kid, everybody's a mandated reporter in some ways, because if you see something, you should report it. But there are people like teachers, doctors, nurses that are mandated. If they see anything that's unusual, if they fear anything, if they think anything, they are mandated to report. And I can't imagine, because I've even had a situation where someone called C.P.S. on me, like me, and it's like, what the fuck? For what? Because my kid got injured in school. And so they thought something happened at home when it was at school. But the fact remains is that fear of a mom having these people show up at your house and can take your kids from you. All right. With no real evidence, nothing. They could just take your kids. And then you have people willingly going and saying, here's my kids. You must have reached at a breaking point. You had to have been at a point in your life where you just said, I am done. I quit at life. This game is too hard. I can't play it anymore.